Yeah, I guess I was a little cranky last night. I've been debating about deleting that video because I was the one that I did last night because I was really cranky. If anybody would like to follow the thread, I'm assuming it's all under the video. I don't think these were private messages. It's under my video, How to Witness to Atheists, which inspired this Christian to write me. Nice guy. He claims he wasn't preaching or wasn't preachy. You can read the thread yourselves and tell me what you think, but he's trying very, very hard to be nice and, meet me halfway, except he wasn't. I had to assume to meet him at, well, first of all, he approached me about this whole let's have a discussion thing, and then it was like I had to be the one to, well, anyway, he expected me to assume that a God exists and assume the Bible is true. He quoted from the Bible like that means something, like what a book says should mean something somehow. Anyway, so after my video last night, this person writes me this. Thank you for your time. Here are a couple of things I would like to leave with. 1, I have been respectful. Actually, he has. He's been very respectful, so I don't disagree. 2, you broke the rules on assumptions. Not me. I always asked if my assumptions were correct. You did not. Especially when you asked if I read my Bible. 3, I was not preachy. You were the one that broke that rule. Defending my faith is not preachy. Rather, it's taking a stand on one side of an issue. You dominated the conversation, which I'm fine with as long as it stimulates conversation and doesn't shut it down. Except I didn't really exactly ask for this conversation, but I digress. Maybe the next time when you make a video on how to witness to an atheist, you can mention that the problem isn't just with a Christian. You wouldn't even allow a discussion, let alone let me witness to you. This is my typical problem with atheists, and I have yet to understand why, especially since they so overwhelmingly believe they are the reasonable ones. I don't mean this as a slam, I'm just perplexed. Have a wonderful day. And, nice guy. If my video my original How to Witness to Atheist video doesn't mention the problem isn't just with Christians, it should. It should. I think the whole point of the reason I made that video was I was still able to, at that time, put myself in the Christian shoes and think like a Christian. And I could see the things that, Christians were doing to piss atheists off. And I was trying to say, hey, this is not a good way to go about it. And the reason I did that is because it pisses atheists off. And that does, in my opinion, imply that the problem isn't just with Christians. It's with atheists too. But, I think with atheists, there's a pretty good reason why it pisses us off. We have it in such large doses. This whole being looked down on, being judged as broken, being judged as evil, bad people, being told that if we don't get, toe the line and believe the right things, we actually deserve to be tortured forever. We even have Christians that, ooh, I can't wait to see you burning in hell. They say that to us. So yeah, I think of the two sides, atheists are maybe a little bit more dealing with the raw end of the nerve, And the reason I think I put that video together is a while ago. If anyone wants to scroll down and try to find it, it's probably 2 years ago, was because I saw that Christians were going nowhere trying to talk to atheists because of how number one, they don't bother to prove a God exists. They don't bother to show any evidence for the existence of the God before they start wanting the atheist to let's just assume the God's existence is a given. Okay, we can't have this conversation unless you assume this. we have to assume that the Bible is has anything valid to say whatsoever, or is of any value. We invoke verses at the atheists like this means something. Anyway, so my response back was, you broke the rules of assumption when, one, you assumed I was asking for someone to witness to me. I wasn't. You assumed I'd be okay with you talking about your deity, as if it's a given, it exists. You were actually preachy. You invoked Bible verses at me like anything in that book has any validity. I made that video for the reason that so many Christians do not know how to talk to an atheist without being like you were. Discussing a God without proving it exists, like it's a given. Right there you're asking the other person, or trying to force his more like it, to be on your level. Why not for once meet the atheists on the level of assuming there is no evidence for a God? And oh, I don't know, maybe it's possible one doesn't exist. By coming across like your God's existence is a given, you seem condescending and totally disrespectful of your audience, who has already made it clear he or she does not believe. How patient would you be if you had someone want to know why you reject Zeus, even after you have told them you don't believe in Zeus? And then that person started quoting from a book you know to be false, and wanting to know if maybe you're blaming Zeus when you should be blaming his followers. How would that make you feel? Like your opinion and perceptions don't matter at all? You were very nice about it, but you are still talking down to me when you say how you hope I'll be in heaven one day. Do you not understand what that implies? Anyway, whatever. You want to blame me for how your tactics made me feel and my being honest about it. Go right ahead. That need to feel superior thing, that's very Christian. Anyway, so that's the end of that conversation. But I wouldn't mind feedback. If anybody wants to go see that the whole thread, he was very nice. I will say he was very nice. But at the same time, as nice as he was, I'm sorry, but there seems to be an agenda there. It's like the agenda. Maybe there's been so many Christians with this agenda that one that comes along that doesn't actually have it, you can't recognize it, you can't tell a difference anymore. But little things like quoting Bible verses at me and asking me, well, you know, are you sure you're not blaming the wrong thing? Maybe you should blame Christians and not God. Or saying things like, well, I really truly hope that you'll be in heaven one day, or I think God sympathizes with you. Things like that. It's like little subtle things that send the message that, hey, I'm trying to convert you. I'm trying to get you to change your mind. I'm trying to get you to see Christianity as the wonderful, warm and fuzzy thing that it is, rather than the horrible thing that you have made it out to be. I see an agenda. I see somebody with a goal. You know, it's not, I mean, I've seen debates. I've seen lots of debates. Debates don't come across like that, you know. They don't come across like, you know, they want to change the other person. It's two arguments and they clash. I threw my heavy guns at this guy because it was a knee-jerk reaction, because he was pushing all my buttons. And it wasn't really like he came back with the heavy guns. He just, well, you have to look at the thread if you're interested. I'm just saying, you know, Christians, if any of you are watching, again, atheists, the whole angry atheist is a common description of atheists. I think atheists are angry for a reason. And I think, honestly, that Christians are that reason. And when you talk to an atheist and you do these things, you act like God is a given, like his existence is a given. And after the atheist says, I don't believe in God, you say, God really loves you. He really cares for you. He wants the best for you. You're totally disrespecting the other person who has just told you they don't believe in a God. Or when they say, they say, they think the Bible's full of shit. The Bible is not, it's just man-made. And you start quoting verses like sentences from this book really actually should have some significance somehow. Anyway, these things rubbed me the wrong way. It doesn't matter how nice the other guy is. It's like walking on eggshells and being really nice doesn't hide the agenda that this person has. And maybe he doesn't have an agenda, but that's how I perceived him. And again, it might not be his fault. It might be the fault of all the other Christians I've had to deal before him. But Christians, if you want to deal with an atheist and not get them fucking angry, you don't do these things. You go into it assuming that, oh, you know what? Maybe they could be right. I mean, how do you know you're right? There's like thousands of religions in the world. How do you know you're right? How do you know your God is the God? How do you know a God exists at all? And if a God does exist, how do you know it's your God? Where's the evidence that a God exists at all? And then if you find that, where's the evidence that it's your God? All an atheist is somebody who doesn't believe a God exists. You talk to them like one does. How do you think they're going to feel? You're going to talk to them like one does without showing that it does. Really? Anyway, so that's the end of this little conversation I had with this guy. I'm sorry it ended badly. He was a nice guy. I'm not trying to put him down in any way, but I think he had an agenda, and I didn't want to play. So, anyway, sorry about being grumpy last night. I don't know if I should delete that video or not. I was very angry, and he didn't really deserve my anger. It was anger that he triggered that has just been inside me from all the other shit that I've had to deal with since I've become an atheist. So, anyway, I have to go to work. That's why I got this little scarf on. You know what? I don't have any wardrobe whatsoever. My last job, I could wear jeans every day, and I got paid a lot more. Now I have to dress, and I'm not a dressy kind of person. I'm a tomboy. But here it is. I'm getting money, so yay! Anyway, if you've been watching, thanks. Bye.